Okay, welcome back to the Bootleg Corner movie review hours as it has been for the past few weeks, and we'll be rolling back with Alien Earth episode 7. And this time it was a lot of things that happened in episode 6 that we had to atone and we had to come back to. Now Cavalier and Kesh are coming back to the Prodigy Island and finding out that things are not as they seem. Things are in complete chaos, in complete disarray. A $6 billion asset is now rendered useless or movable. As I said before, we do not know the actual value of what the asset was, but now we know that each of these prototypes are worth at least $6 billion. Now, as for Wendy, we are now finding out that she's not as quiet and as benign as Kesh and Cavalier thought she was. When she wanted to see the body of Isaac, when they thought they could prevent her, she forced her way in. And when she wanted to now go out to tell all the other saints that Isaac is, I think, dead for now at least, they were now trying to prevent her. She was now speaking to the Xenomorph. And now Kesh and Cavalier are aware that she's not just a quiet asset. She has power to some level. She's showing it that if they did not let her go out, then the Xenomorph is going to come out and do some real damage. And these are both of them are basically their $1 billion assets. So just had to let her walk at that point in time. Now, as for Smee and Slightly, I said it before that Smee has been the only one enjoying his childhood, being carefree and happy, basically enjoying everything that has to do with being a child. But we are seeing, as I said before, that the time will come when those childish tendencies are going to go away because really serious things are going to happen. And Smee discovered that Slightly was keeping Arthur in his bedroom. And when Smee didn't want to help him, I was now thinking, but like I was now questioning, like if Smee changed his mind because he was thinking that Slightly would do the same thing to him. Because if Slightly could do this to Arthur, who has been their friend and basically harmless, then I think was there a hint of fear there, or was Smee simply doing it to help his friend and because he convinced himself or let himself be convinced that Arthur would get back to full health and stuff like that. But I said there's no longer any time for childish plays and childish games. He's now in the real adults business, and they are taking Arthur to the beach. And one thing again I want to notice is these guys, I don't think they understand their own strength, or they've used or utilized, or they are aware of the amount of strength and the capacity that they have. They still think they are humans, because I think these guys are saints. No, I think we know these guys are saints, and their bodies are built like 10 or 15 times stronger than the human body. We've seen it with Wendy at the beginning of this series, and we later see it with Nibs at the ending of this episode. So any of these guys could have taken Arthur by themselves. They could have carried Arthur easily, but they did not yet know the extent of their strength, or they still think that they are normal humans. And that's just one thing they'll have to discover along the way, except they were built differently. And I don't think they were really built differently. Now for Arthur, I mean, when someone wakes up after being held unconscious by a Xenomorph, I think we all know that it's time for them to die. It's basically time for them to die. So him coming back to life, doing a whole slow redemption and forgiveness. It's not even forgiveness, but there was a hidden redemption arc in there, hidden for Slightly, that everything was going to be good and fine. They were going to go back to the beach, and all of a sudden the Xenomorph decided that it was going to be time to come out, busting out of his chest. I think this was one of the most graphic, because they put this one in broad daylight. I think this is the first time in this series we are seeing Xenomorphs do their things in broad daylight, both here with the Xenomorph busting out of Arthur's chest and with the other Xenomorph when Prodigy soldiers came to capture Wendy, Nibs and Hermit. This is the first time in this entire franchise we are seeing the Xenomorph come out in broad daylight and see like his full stature and his full appearance and everything. And one thing I'm going to ask now is, this Xenomorph, is it following Wendy's instructions because she's the only other species or only other animal that can talk to it, or is it going to flip sometime later, or is it basically just a lapdog? Because I think there's going to be a time when it does things on its own. Basically, it's going to either refuse the request or the order or the command or whatever it is that Wendy is telling it. But this is how it is for now. Xenomorph is under, do I say under the orders, I don't know, because these guys, Xenomorphs they are unpredictable basically. So I do not know what the deal is, but for now it is protecting and defending Wendy against all and sundry if she calls for it. And so we don't know, will it flip in future or will it still be here? That's what we just have to find out. Now Wendy refusing to leave Prodigy Island without her siblings was it was a bit noble from her, because At that point, I was thinking like every man for themselves and all that stuff. But Randy couldn't go without her fellow sisters and brothers who had been in the same situation with her. And we now see that whatever the memory wipe was used to do for Nibs, it didn't work. She's basically the same person. So whatever thing they think they've corrected with wiping the memory of Nibs, she's basically back to the same default person she was, wondering about her mobility and mortality and every other random strange thought that pops in her head. But as you can see for Cully, she's like when I was talking about, I said earlier that these kids, they will have different behavioral tendencies as a result of them being thrust into adult bodies. And for Cully, it seems that the attraction of being number one, now that Wendy is leaving the Prodigy Island, is too much of a lure for her. So she's refusing to leave. And when Wendy told her to promise she wouldn't tell Kabelia, I just think that was an empty promise. I felt it in my head, but I don't know to what extent. Maybe she did the promise out part, then maybe she did the other. She said some words in her head that would just cast whatever promise she was making. But Nibs, you can see she's still basically the same person. The memory wipe didn't do anything for her. Then they were going out, they encountered their graves, the graves of their own bodies. And now this just reminds us of the legal status of these guys. What are they basically? Because their earthly bodies are dead, they are no longer human in the most plain sense of the word, but they still have their human qualities in robot bodies. So what Kabelia was doing was to get out in public sphere. What would they be referred to as? Would they have rights as humans? Would they, like, basically he has introduced a new problem into the world that has no laws or no conventions yet for, and we'll have to see what happens in the coming episodes. Now, for Kabelia, after watching the footage where Theocelos was basically, you saw what Theocelos did to Isaac in the cage, he has now decided that Theocelos is an intelligent enough creature to converse with, and he's going with some mathematical symbols and elements to try to see if they can converse. And Theocelos has basically given him the answers he wanted, and now they are deciding they are going to give Theocelos the body of a human for a second time, because none of them knew, only us the audience knew, that Theocelos had the body of Smile in the spaceship. So they are going to give Theocelos a human host, and we do not know who they are going to pick. Is it going to be Moro, because Moro was captured at the end of this episode? I don't know who they are going to pick, because Kabelia said he has someone in mind, and at that point in time he did not know that Moro was in the compound. So who are they going to pick to be the human host, or to be it has to be a human host, I think, because I said earlier I don't know if Theocelos can function with a synthetic host, because I think it needs basically animal synapses and all those things to take over the human body. But if he can take over the synthetic body, I think we'll have serious problems down the line, because synthetic bodies are way stronger and more durable than human bodies. So we not know who they are going to get as the host for Theocelos. I think all these things will be answered in episode 7, in episode 8, which I think is going to be the finale of this series. And I'm hoping, why am I saying I'm hoping? I'm just wondering who is going to be, basically. And that's where we are right now. Now, as for Kesh, everything we had been saying, or I had been saying up to this point, was that he was a saboteur and he was an unknown quantity, basically. And in this ending of this episode, not even the ending, in the moments leading up to the ending of this episode, we saw him do things that were both disadvantageous to Kabelia and advantageous to Kabelia in the end. When Smee and Slightly were running away with Arthur's body, he was the one who gave them directions to go to the beach without getting caught. And now it seems he is back on the side of Kabelia, because he has captured the Xenomorph, the second, because now we have a second Xenomorph. That's something I'll talk about later. He has captured the Xenomorph. He led the team of Arthur's soldiers to capture all the scenes and everything that was foreign to the island, basically. And he has also captured Moro. So basically, he's back on the side of Kabelia again, after having let Smee and Slightly run away with Arthur's body. Now he's capturing Moro and all the guys Moro came with for Kabelia, and everything is basically back under control to some extent. So what side is he on? Who is, like, as I've been saying before, who is he working for? Does he have a private agenda of his own? I think this is the 4th or 5th time I'm asking this question after like 6 or 7 episodes. Because in every episode he does something that doesn't basically align with what it's supposed to be. And we do not know anything, they haven't told us anything yet. And at the end of this one now, he's doing something that is in line with what his supposed role is for Kabelia. And I still do not know where he stands. So these are this is where we are right now. Once again, I'm asking, on whose side is Kesh? Can we get an answer to that finally, please? Because I think by episode 8, everything will be answered, but this is where we are. So for Weyland Yutani, I don't think they know yet that their assets are now in the hands of of Prodigy. Basically, the Xenomorphs, everything are basically back in Prodigy command. The assets, the soldiers, and the mercenaries they sent have all been captured. Now we have 2 Xenomorphs. So now this second Xenomorph that has hatched, can it also listen? Can it also communicate with Wendy, or is that a special package or a special effect that Wendy, a special connection that Wendy has with only that Xenomorph, or is it a general package with all Xenomorphs and with Wendy? 2 Xenomorphs now. I know at some point we are going to get a full-blown breakout. After all, this series was named Alien. 2 Xenomorphs out. I think the other 2 bugs that spit acid have been recaptured and still back in their cages. Theocelos is going to get a new human host. I don't think there's any new leak outside, basically. But now for Nibs. Nibs has discovered the full extent of her synth powers and the full extent of her synth strength and durability. He took this guy's jaw and basically crushed it with one hand. And all the other soldiers are now realizing that these synths are not normal. They are not just, their strength is off the charts, basically. For her to use one hand to crush a guy's throat and his jaw and everything with one grip, I mean, that's power, basically. That's seriously power. Now for Hermit, I think he has chosen humanity over his sister. You can see the betrayal, the shock, the disappointment on Wendy's face when she realizes that Hermit blew the chance for them to escape, because he was thinking about his soldier, I don't know what, his fellow soldier, his fellow worker for this thing, for Prodigy. So that's where things stand now, and I think this might be the place that flipped the switch for Wendy, because she and Hermit had been having some ideological clashes over the time, with wanting to leave Prodigy. Now, time for them to leave. He's now basically done something that prevents them from doing it. This is where things are right now. And the Xenomorph, the second adult Xenomorph, is still out in the wild. That one hasn't been captured. So I think Wendy is going to get captured and sent back and imprisoned back in Prodigy prison or whatever. I know she's still on the Prodigy territory, on Prodigy Island. The other Xenomorph is still out in the world, and I think that's going to be what he's going to get. Is what Wendy is going to use to plan her escape, if there's going to be any escape in episode 8. I think I was talking about full-blown chaos, and I think episode 8 will either have full-blown chaos or there will be a calming down, a denouement, basically a level of all things. Because I thought we were ascending, we were accelerating towards full-blown chaos, but it seems that everything has been calmed down to a certain degree. Barring the Xenomorph, every other organism is accounted for, apart from those bugs that nobody even knows where they are. They basically just gone into the city and killed everyone in sight. But this is where things are as of now in Alien Earth. Full-blown chaos has been quieted, has been calmed down to an extent, and we do not know what is going to happen exactly in episode 8. Still the bootleg on the bootleg corner. Don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe. Hit me with your thoughts in the comment section. Keep it locked in, and I'll be back.